Hello, hello, ladies. Something that I wanted to add to the postpartum rehab program that I have is to discuss postpartum running. Postpartum running was something that is really important to me in all four of my postpartum experiences. I love to run. It's always been, well, I should say I have a love-hate relationship with running, but it's always been something that I really enjoy doing, particularly when it's done, but I guess it's always kind of been a mental health outlet for me. And I know that that's true for a lot of people. It's just kind of their time to zone out and just be by themselves. And we especially seem to need that right after we welcome new family members. So I wanted to touch on some really important highlights of postpartum running. All too often, we actually do return to postpartum running a lot sooner than we should. Our pelvic floor, our core, and our body we just haven't healed yet. But that doesn't mean that we can't not return to postpartum running. So unfortunately, there aren't really any set rules. We'll just kind of call them guidelines, and it's all individual. It's such an individual process. Everyone heals differently, so just remember that. But kind of as a general rule, I do like for women to wait at least 4 months postpartum to start running again. This just gives your pelvic floor and your core a little bit more of an opportunity to heal. And I am a huge fan of walking. With all my pregnancies, and this is not like some measuring stick that you should be doing this too, but I was probably back walking within a week. It just felt really good. I went slow. It was a chance to be outside, and it felt good. I didn't put any pressure on myself. No set time, no set distance, no set pace. But walking truly is one of the healthiest things that we can do for our body. So one of the things that I like to remind you all of, and I'm sure you've read it in the other modules, but is just to remember the 3 Ps of postpartum. And I learned this from Jessie Mundell in the course that I took from her, but it's pain, peeing, and prolapse. So basically, if you're experiencing any of those issues, pain, peeing when you don't mean to, and prolapse, then that's your body trying to tell you that something is not quite right. That doesn't mean any of those things are forever, but your body is trying to tell you that it needs a little bit extra help. So, let's see here. So here's just kind of my checklists and considerations to return to running. So number one, I know I preach this, but get yourself cleared by a physical therapist, a women's health physical therapist. Now, for some women, I know this isn't an option, whether it's financially or you don't live near a women's health physical therapist. So if you have a fitness professional, reach out to me or reach out to somebody else that you know and trust, and talk to them about it. And talk to them how you're feeling, and talk to them about the type of birth that you had. And so you guys can maybe kind of try to set up a plan from there. If you're experiencing any degree of pelvic organ prolapse, do not proceed with running until you know that it's well managed. A lot of women, in fact, 50% of women will experience pelvic organ prolapse over their lifetime. So, if this does happen, there are plenty of resources for you, but definitely reach out for help. And then if you don't experience incontinence with activities of daily living or upon exertion of anything, lifting a bag of groceries, lifting a baby, whatever, then you can proceed. If you have a firm understanding of core breathing and alignment, these are the two pretty big foundational pieces that I harp on for women postpartum. And then have you assessed your diastasis? Maybe you don't have one. Maybe you do have one, but you don't know until you do an assessment, and then work with that information that you get from that. If you are breastfeeding, I know this sounds really extreme, but you are at higher risk for stress fractures, so just kind of a little bit of information to know. And then set realistic expectations. Postpartum can be a challenging time with sleep, and sleep deprivation is a real thing, and it really can put a stress on our body. So take care of yourself with rest, plenty of food, plenty of nourishment, and letting others help you. I know that is so hard for so many of us, but it's just really, really important. And this is why, one of the main things when women want to start running, one of my first questions is, what's your goal? Like, not to sound like snarky or rude, but why? Why do you want to run? Why is that important for you to get out there and start running so soon? Or at any point, what's your goal? And then we can set a plan from there. Um, Continue taking your prenatal vitamin, and this is for breastfeeding, for bottle feeding. I just highly recommend women to continue taking their prenatal vitamin. And then make sure you pay extra attention to your hip flexors. This can be a little bit of a tricky time. They can be weak. And so we do address that in the postpartum program that I wrote. So consider that. And then make sure you have been whole body strength training with postnatal specific strategies for at least 6 weeks. And then, of course, always make sure you're cleared by your healthcare provider. Although, in the perfect world, you would be cleared from your healthcare provider and then cleared by a women's health physical therapist. That's a perfect world. I know that doesn't always happen, but that's just kind of ideal. And then, last but not least, when you do start running, start slow. It's not a race, it's not a competition. So start slow, maybe, walk for a minute, jog for a minute. Repeat that. Maybe the first time you do it 5 minutes, or maybe you just do it for 10 minutes. But start slow. After you have completed a walk jog, add an incline. An incline, even to this day, I am almost 2 years postpartum from my fourth baby. Inclines always, always, always catch me off guard. They are challenging. I'm typically pretty sore from them, so add that incline, and I think you'll be surprised at how hard that is. And then just continue listening to your body. Pay attention. Do you have heaviness in your vagina? Do you have heaviness in your anus? Maybe that's a great indication that you have prolapse, and maybe you have no idea. If you have incontinence, listen to your body. It's trying to tell you that it needs a little bit more attention. So, if you have any questions about this, always feel free to reach out. I love helping women navigate this stuff. Everybody is individual. Not everyone's labor was the same. Not everyone's birth was the same. Not everyone's pregnancy was the same. And these all affect how our body responds postpartum. So I'm always here. Reach out, social media. So yeah, thanks.